Afenifere, the pan-Yoruba socio-cultural and political organization, recently experienced a major reverse with its long-term charismatic spokesman, Yinka Odumakin, who died from complications arising from COVID-19. Arrangements for his funeral will kick in tomorrow, Thursday, April the 22nd. Joining us now to reflect on the life and contributions of the late politician is Chief Ayo Adebanjo, leader of Afenifere, and a man who had quite a fond attachment to and political association with Yinka Odumakin. Welcome to the program, sir. Good morning. Glad to have you on the morning show again. First, our commiserations, our condolences on the passing of Yinka Odumakin, spokesperson of Afenifere and a very close associate of yours. Maybe we should just start the conversation by asking you to use this opportunity to pay a tribute to a man who was a patriot, a very outspoken defender of progressive causes in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Each time I have to talk about Yinka now, I find it difficult to gather myself. When you talk of a young man activist, the type of Yinka is very rare in this generation, and I've lived through many. If you want to meet a selfless activist, courageous, loyal, consistent, fearless, and the man worked 24/7 for the cause he believes in. Yinka Odumakin is number one. Since he died, as a Christian, I cannot say it is impossible to replace him, because there is no impossibility in God's dictionary. But as a human being, I would say it would be difficult to replace Yinka. We have so many active young men these days which have lived through over the years from independence. The moment they acclaim relevance, popularity and everything, they sell out. But that is not Yinka. Today, I bless the day Pastor Bakari brought him to my house and said I should forgive him. I had the honor and the privilege. I was in position of acting chairman of Alliance for Democracy when I registered, when Yinka came into the Alliance for Democracy from the party of Afenifere. I enrolled him at somewhere down the line, along Bagada area. The squad there then, and one Dr. Saidebi. Since he joined the Action Group doctrine, he has never looked back. And it will interest you, by the time some young men said they were forming Afenifere Leader, being influenced then by Tinubu, he was one of them. And he wrote very damaging articles against me, Paradesoya, Laniwa Ajayi. To the extent that we are just wondering whether we are human beings. But that is Yinka, what he believes in. But what happened later? At that time, he was the Administrative Secretary of Afenifere. So, they went away. But you'll be surprised. No sooner Yinka discovered that that organization was working for Tinubu, he pulled out and was away. So we kept our cool. On that score, I was not friendly disposed to him and my troop. But sometime later, Pastor Bakari brought him to my house. And he said, when I saw him, I said, who is this in my house? What do you want here? Pastor Bakari said, he has come with him to plead with me. Abati, I bless the day and I thank Bakari for bringing him. And I thank God that I accepted his apology.
Well, thank you for sharing that, sir. It's really, heartening to know that those amends were made while the time was available to do so. You have repeated for the umpteenth time your call for restructuring, saying that you prefer that option rather than secession, which has been referred to approvingly by Garba Shehu, the presidential spokesman, saying that as credible as Afenifere is, they haven't joined those calls for people calling for secession. But your comments were actually a lot more nuanced than what he said suggests. While you have been clear and insistent on restructuring, you also said you don't actually blame those calling for self-determination and secession. Can you please expand, sir?
Well, it is clear. The reason is being, I don't believe in secession because I have worked for United Nigeria since independence. But this is not the independence that the constitution we have now is an imposed constitution by the military. And the problem we are having in the country now is because of this constitution. People should get that one clear. It appears both Garba Shehu and his boss, Buhari, they don't address the question. I have said that this constitution is a fraudulent constitution. It is not the constitution we agreed to at independence. It is not the constitution Saudana Oshogoto, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Chief Obafe Awolowo, Balewa, Mbono Ejike, the founding fathers of this country agreed to at independence. That is my contention. And I said, this present constitution was imposed on us in 1966. Whether you are talking of resource control, state police, all these agitations have been settled. And that is what the crisis in the country today. So when the military said they are going back to the barracks in 1999, the Afenifere with Adeko said, send us back to the constitution you met us. This is not the constitution of our founding fathers. That is the crux of the matter, because I don't want to say much before you cut me off. So the question of restructuring is that restructure the country back to federalism, which our founding fathers agreed to. This unity form of government, with all its imperfections, with all its imposition, which has enslaved the South to the North, is imposed on us by the military. And Garba Shehu and Buhari and all them, they have not disputed that question. That is what is troubling us. That's why I say Buhari and APC are the #1 enemy of Nigerian unity if they refuse to restructure the country back to federalism. I don't want secession,
okay, sir.
And I repeated, I have served for Nigerian independence more than even the president of the country.
Okay.
For 1 year, I was in Maiduguri campaigning for. Okay, what more do you want?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that insight. Speaking still of the Constitution, I mean, a lot of people have said things along the line you have been saying. John Owodo, in fact, I was information minister then, before the swearing in of the new democratic government in 1999, did say he didn't even see the document. You know, he said that on a forum, I think, held by the newspaper outfit Daily Trust. And we had Salami Abubakar here, former president of Nigeria, that went for that. He said, yes, but you people can change it if it's not working, that we did what was best for the country at that point in time. So what's your reaction to Salami Abubakar saying you can change it if it's not working? Why have we not been able to change it, even with the fact that the APC campaigned for restructuring when they were coming in?
Thank you very much. Have we got the power to change it? Even at the time, thank you for referring to Salami Abubakar, we did not want to take part in the election of 1999 until we have a sovereign national conference to agree to the kind of constitution we have. It was Abubakar who persuaded us, who persuaded the Alliance for Democracy, that when we got our civilian government, we can do it. He's in a hurry, he doesn't want to wait. In fact, but for Abubakar, Alliance for Democracy couldn't have been registered because under the Abacha conditions, we are not qualified. Because they said we should be registered in Sokoto and other places, and they know we haven't got money.
Chief Adebanjo, sorry to interrupt
you. So to
you.
be fair, to make us...
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. We need to take a short commercial break, and then we'll come back to you. Please stay with us, and the conversation will continue. We'll be right back. It's still the Morning Show. Welcome back to the Morning Show here on the Arise News Channel. Our guest is Chief Ayo Adebanjo, leader of Afenifere, the Yoruba socio-cultural organization. Chief Adebanjo, thank you for staying with us. You were commenting on the Constitution, 1999 Constitution. Now, add to your comments also attempts by some people, some groups, to come up with what they call a people's constitution outside the purview of the National Assembly.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, you say, why has it not been changed? Attempt to change it has not been responded to by the government of the day. It was an attempt to change it. We don't want violence. We were asking for a constitutional conference, sovereign national conference, to agree to how we are going to live together in peace. If you are not returning us back to the Constitution of 1960. That is the attempt. Then the then president, Obasanjo, said there can be no two sovereignty. And I explained then emphatically that no, we are not talking of the sovereignty of the incumbent president. We are talking of the sovereignty of that conference that agreed to the way we are going to live together. That whatever we agree to at that conference is not subject to amendment by any body, either to add to or to subtract. That is sovereignty we had, but we are not needed to. Then they said, number one, until Jonathan in 2014 set up something very, very similar or acceptable to us. And that is the recommendation in 2014 conference, which embodies practically everything that we are calling for under a federal system, which is typical and identical to what we had at independence. Although Jonathan couldn't implement it, when he was handing over to the President Buhari, he said, this is the most important document I'm handing over to you. But President Buhari said, I'm putting it in the archives. That is why we are in trouble. And you see, except people are just pretending. We know our problem. The problem is this constitution that skewed everything in it against the South. There's no time for me under this program to tell you what injustice is there. And that's why I say, you said before that Absalom confirmed what I said. I have always repeated, and people thought that I said, this constitution is a fraudulent constitution. We don't make it. It is the military that make it. And we say, we, the people of the Federal Republic, we don't make it. Are we federal? That is the basis of my saying this constitution is fraudulent. And that has been repeated by the late Rotimi Williams. That the preamble of our constitution is fraudulent. We are not. It is because of that now, it is that sovereign national conference we are asking for, which was attempted to in 2014, that which Buhari has refused to do, that is causing this problem. If he does not do it, he wants to impose this military constitution on us. And that is what is causing the question of people who feel cheated to say they want to get out of Nigeria. All the provisions we are complaining about are in this constitution. If there is any change Nigeria wants to keep together in peace, it is the change of this constitution. To go into the details of the evils in it will be wasting a lot of time. But that the bottom line is this constitution is unacceptable.
Well,
and if they are an attempt to pretend you don't know what is happening, that's why I say the President Buhari is the #1 enemy of Nigerian unity. When we tell you this is what is going to keep us together, and we refuse to attend to it, and you don't give us the alternative, which we just want to carry on, which is confirming our own accusation that you want to Fulanize the country. If you don't want to, I say ever address us and say, what is your fear? There's no fear there. He just pretends as if who is talking. And that's what is causing trouble.
Well, Chief,
so,
quickly, you took over as leader of Afenifere after Baba Fashoranti decided to retire. What's your agenda as leader of Afenifere 1? And in the 3-day burial plan that has been announced with regard to Yinka Odumakin, what role is Afenifere playing in that event? Will you be attending? And what's the talk, what's the plan to appoint another spokesperson for the group?
Well, I think if I'm going to, another spokesperson has been appointed. And my plan for Afenifere is not going to be made to you on the air until I have the first meeting with my people. And I can tell you in brief, there could be no change in our policy. What we have been talking about, restructuring the country, is what we have been doing. Anything we have been doing before, through Fashoranti, it will not change. We have been consistent in our program. It is only a change of personnel. It's not a change of policy. We have been insistent on the restructuring of this country back to federalism, good government, to lack of corruption. That's what we are going to develop upon. There's nothing fundamentally different.
Yeah, but I asked about Afenifere's role in the burial of Odumakin and whether
we are running the show. We are running the show. Nobody has the role. We are running the show with the widow. It's not the question of what's our role. Everybody joins our. We are running the show, the program, and everything is being run by us in conjunction with the widow. We are not doing it with any other person. The show is ours.
And how soon will another spokesperson be identified and announced?
It will be publicly announced when I have the first meeting with my people after the burial. We are now in a period of mourning. But the officers to be appointed are already doing their work, but not officially. They will be officially announced when we hold the first meeting where we will give my acceptance speech.
Well, sir.
I should do that on the air. We don't behave like the APC, who announce their program and for their members in the air without their members knowing about it.
Yes, sir. As you said, sir, our Constitution is premised on fraud and is more often observed in the breach. Yet, the authorities seem wedded to it. So a lot of people have completely lost hope that President Buhari will, attend to the urgent issue of restructuring and are looking to 2023. So my question for you, sir, do you believe that President Buhari will include in his legacy restructuring Nigeria, or do we need to look to 2023? And also for 2023, I know you don't want to give away too much information on air, but has Afenifere come to a position about 2023? Will you be supporting, I imagine, a president from the South, but will it be somebody from the Southwest or Southeast?
We are very definitely Afenifere. We are not prevaricating. The question of presidency now for us does not arise. This country is in pieces now. Until that one is done, then we talk about where the presidency will go. The presidency will go to where the Constitution provides. We are not going to do another election or be in this country where a section of the country will be dictating to us who will be the president at his grace. No. That is why we don't believe in any election now until this constitution is scrapped and the agreed one is agreed to with the principle of federalism strictly observed. Pure and simple.
Okay, but if this constitution is not changed before 2023, are you saying, because you also use the term, we will not be in a country where some other people will dictate for us. Are you saying that Afenifere is not going to support the 2023 elections? Because you're saying presidency is not on the card, but we have another election cycle coming. So if the constitution is not
it is clear. You only want to hear it from me. We say we are not interested in election. I know people don't buy it. But they see the deceit in the Buhari government trying to do an election. An election now is a diversion. With this confusion in the country, security bad, economy bad, education bad, we are in a state of flux in the country.
But elections must go
and
on.
Any sensible person, any patriot, you see, I have said my own. We don't believe in any election until the question of the country is settled peacefully.
But elections must go on.
But for any election now, well, we will see the results.
What result?
I will say more.
Well, Chief, Garuba Shehu is saying that the president, that is President Buhari, cannot be intimidated, and that those who criticize the president, they are trying to intimidate him. Specifically, he also pointed out that this government will not organize another national conference, and that those who are asking for a national conference should perish the thought. Do you think that a national conference at this time will help to douse tension, particularly across the southern regions where there have been calls for, as Tundum pointed out earlier, secession?
Thank you. You see, when we accuse these people of being a dictatorship, they tell us we are just blaming them. How can Garuba Shehu say the president is not interested in anything when the people of the country say this is what we want? Is he not a Democrat? Did he not claim to have been although being a military man, that is now a born-again Democrat? Is that democracy? You see, I won't talk much on this program because all the things we have been accusing Garuba Shehu and the APC and Buhari in particular, that they have a hidden agenda, they do it in many ways. And those of us who know them tell us, you can't deceive us again. How can an elected government, elected president say he will not listen to what the people are saying? That he must continue with all the agitations of the North, East, West, and South, that this constitution is oppressive, we don't want it, that so you could just carry on. It's just unacceptable. That's why I say we are living under a civilian dictatorship under Buhari. It's only a dictatorship that won't listen to the people. What right does Garuba Shehu to say we are not going to do this? Who is he? Is the government not elected? If the people elected him now that they say they want this, why should he say no? If it's not a military dictatorship. That shows you the condition we are. And whatever name we call this government, we are not only labeling them, we are telling you the reality. And that is what the spokesman is saying. When the spokesman does not listen, when they say, he openly claimed that they are not a listening government. I am speaking because I believe I'm a Democrat. After all, the man is speaking for now. I campaigned for him in 2007 when he said he was going to do restructuring because so there's no bitterness against us, but we must do the things that the people want. That's my stand. He cannot say no. And that's our complaint. Look at the arrogance of that statement, that we don't do it, in spite of the claim of the North, the South, and everybody. And you said that there, when I said, this constitution, we don't do it. We want to confirm, and the man who did it confirm. And when President Obasanjo was saying he will change the constitution under which to have a second sovereignty, I told you, you don't know what in the constitution says you swore to. As if Absalom confirmed it. That is the cause of the matter, and that is what you president should help us to. We are saying the constitution is a fraudulent one. It's not our constitution. The man who gave us confirmed that we don't do it, that he said he has left it to us, and the man who is to do it says he's not going to do it. What is the upside? What is the inference? The inference, I couldn't care. I'm here. So, but I think, except you just want to draw the wool against people, we should tell Buhari and his company that we are intelligent people. We haven't got cattle heads. When people say this is what they want, it is the duty of a democratic government, a democratic president, to listen to the people. Who does Garba speak for?
Otherwise, what's the point of calling it a democracy? But, sir, we've talked about secession. I want to talk to you about succession in the Yoruba context. During the break, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag now. During the break, the three of us here were discussing how great you look. Nobody would believe you're in your 90s, and it's not flattery. But you are in your 90s. You're 93 years old. And Baba Fashoranti handed over to you. He's 95, and he handed over to a 93-year-old. What is the future of youth in the Afenifere group? Why was it not a handover to a different generation? Because you will know that there is a general clamor in Nigeria for generational change.
Thank you. Can I go on now? You come after the break?
No, please go ahead, sir.
Now or after?
Please go ahead, sir.
You want me to answer now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. The question of whether you are age or that does not appeal to us in Afenifere. The youth are there to take over any time. We don't hand over to youth by default. We over to youth by ability. And that's what we have been doing. Anything deviation from that is our own internal problem. The youth will not say they are not given a chance. There is no youth in the organization that claim not to have a say. There is no garbage in that organization to say shut up. They are open. So as time goes on, the youth will emerge as have happened. It's not a question of being restricted. We are the most democratic organization in this country. So the question of handing over to an old man or not is our internal problem. We know why. And the youth know.
Okay.
So it's not a question at all.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that insight. Real quickly, I want us to talk about secession in Yoruba land. What's your take on Sunday Igboho and his group? And he's been meeting kings in Yoruba land, some kings, and they've been saying, okay, yeah, we understand what you're doing. He says that the Yorubas in diaspora are with him. He's got some backing by some intellectual base. What's your take about all of this?
my dear, if you listen to all that I'm saying, Igboho is speaking for the youth, discontented youth of this country. They are too anxious for what I'm asking for. That is why I tell you, I don't support their issue, but I don't oppose it. Because if you don't do the needful to keep us together, we cannot, the youth are too impatient now to be suffering under this constitution. That is why I say to prevent the Igbohos increasing, the Nnamdi Kanus increasing, the Igbezu people increasing, change this constitution to what is acceptable. To talk otherwise is to pretend not to know that our problem. And I've said it before in the previous interview. If Buhari and the government are kind enough or patriotic enough to do the needful by restructuring this country now, they will silence the Igbohos forever. They will silence the Nnamdi Kanu forever. They will silence Igbezu. Or us separately, they silence them. But the moment you feel on it, you give impetus to them. You are encouraging secession. People don't want to stay. But nobody want to stay under an unacceptable constitution. And we say it. You pretend you don't know. So when we say this is why they are crying, and you have never come out to say, what is your problem? You want to suppress them by force? It is impossible. What the Igboho is doing is the balance of people don't make peaceful change possible. We make violent change inevitable. We are the people who want peaceful change. So asking for restructuring, this is where I stand. But if the people who make the change don't do it, they can get the result they have. It is they who are encouraging secession. And that's why I say Buhari is number one enemy of Nigerian unity. Buhari and the APC. Because they know what is causing the trouble. They know what is causing agitation for secession. We said that. They refuse to. What is your take? When you say this is your trouble and the doctor tells you, take this message. You don't take it. I say, no, you want peace. The equation is clear. Buhari and APC, Buhari in particular, has a hidden agenda by refusing to restructure the country with the popular wish of the people of the country. Now, to talk of election is a diversion. Let us have the country first, and we peacefully agree to an elections.
Well, Chief, I know that in the past, on this program, I guess, you have expressed sympathy, support for an Igbo presidency in 2023 on the grounds of fairness, equity, and justice.
I've not changed.
But with regard to the APC...
I've not changed my mind.
But with regard to the APC, which you have mentioned twice, we've also had guests on this program from the APC who have said that there is a memorandum of understanding that the presidency of Nigeria within the APC may end up in the Southwest if that MOU is respected. And at the moment, as I wrote yesterday, we have quite a number of Yoruba politicians who are in the forefront, whose names have been mentioned. But there was a story in the papers recently that Afenifere is leaning towards Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the likely
That
person.
is not correct. That is not correct.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Abaji, please, 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 when you talk about people saying something, don't repeat rumors. Have you heard Afenifere say so? Or people say Afenifere said so?
But it was reported in the papers.
I repeat publicly. Well, I just, when reported, who did they say? Did they say Afenifere? Ask about this answer. Did they say Afenifere?
Well, they quoted leaders of Afenifere.
Answer. Who are the leaders they quote? Who are the leaders? Ayo Adebanjo.
No, your name was not mentioned.
Or Fashion or who? That is, you see, you know the truth. You know what the thing lies. They put up a lot of propaganda. After all, as you came to me to sympathize with me on Ayo Adebanjo, I understand they put it out that they say I supported, I just laugh. And the people who interviewed me at that occasion, when I had a private meeting with him, said, what is the outcome of the meeting? I said, well, that's between me and Ashwaju. He has only come to express his sympathy with me. We didn't discuss anything about presidency. He said, if anything put it out, people should confirm from me, not what people say. So there's nothing like that. Nothing like that. Afenifere is not supporting any candidate now. Our aim now is for a peaceful change of this constitution, to have peace. Those of us who have invested in Nigeria, we don't want it to break. But the Buhari and APC should not do things to encourage people who want to break because of the iniquities in this constitution imposed on us. Simple. The treatment is clear. It's clear people are drawing wool across people's eyes. And we are intelligent enough in the South to know all this. Don't buy, I beg you, are you pressmen? Don't buy all this propaganda that people are putting off. They have money to spend, that's their affair. I've been in this game for the past 70 years when many of them were not born. Or when many of them, including the president, were in primary school or at toddlers. So I know what I'm talking about. I cannot spend all my years, 85% of my life has been spent on the unity of this country. I cannot at this age now open my eyes and allow the country to break. Our Lord will not forgive me. He spent all his life fighting for Nigeria. Even against the opposition of those who now believe in restructuring. We are responsible for the creation of states to get the minorities to be in Nigeria. How can we do after doing all that now? Open our eyes and allow people who are not born then to break the country. And we tell them, this is what will break the country. Please don't do it. They don't do it. You pressmen, you don't address yourself to that. You don't address yourself to Garba Shehu and say, no, these people don't want secession. They say the constitution you have is an imposed one. Have they answered that question? They said the question was done by military against them. You don't answer that question. It is the military that created more states in the north than the south. It is the military that created more local government in the north than in the south. It is the military that now says our revenue will be divided on the number of local government in the country. That's not a cheating thing. So let us continue to develop the iniquities and obnoxious conditions in this constitution which people are opposed to. Which Yoruba land, we don't stay under it anymore. That is the question you should answer. Don't continue to say, you want to break, you want to break. Why do you want to break? You don't stay in a club that is unfavorable to you. You stay in a club that you have an advantage. When being in a club is a question of pressure, you get out.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for your time and your insight as always, Chief Ayo Adebanjo. Really appreciate you for your time.